Welcome to today's live stream. We're diving into the insider scoop on Schweitzer Mountain Resort with one of its most experienced instructors. Whether you're planning your first trip to Schweitzer or want to discover the best runs, apres ski spots, and hidden gems, this is the live stream you don't want to miss. Stick around as we uncover what makes Schweitzer so special. And if you've ever wondered what it's like to learn from a level 3 instructor, we've got the answers from Party Marty. Please type your questions in the comments, and I'll ask them to Marty towards the end of the stream. Let's get started. Right on. How's it going, Marty?
Great, Cody. How you doing?
Good.
I like your choice of sweaters.
Yeah, we're hitting it. We're doing good, man. We look serious. We're very Idaho. Yeah, how's your day going?
Day's going pretty good. We got snow here in town, so everyone's super excited.
Yeah. I'm in Post Falls right now, and we got a little bit, and I was surprised. Well, I'm excited. I got a whole list of questions for you here, and hopefully we have some people jump on and ask some questions too. But I think, we'll get people introduced to you, and I'll ask a question that hopefully is good for your answer and introduces you a little bit more than I did in the introduction.
Sounds great.
How did you end up choosing Schweitzer as your home resort, and what has made you stay?
Well, that's a great one because back in the day, Schweitzer Mountain was owned by Hubbard Properties. It was Schweitzer Mountain, it was Mission Ridge and Stevens Pass, and I grew up skiing at Stevens Pass and riding at Stevens Pass, and then I had ended up starting to teach there as well for the ski school that taught me how to ski and ride, and then I ended up teaching there. So back in the day, we would go and take that. Those three mountains were on one pass, and we could do a 4-day road trip, make a long weekend out of it. And we were younger then too, but we felt like kings because we could hit 3 areas. We ended up going out to Schweitzer quite a few times, and it just blew me away with the views and how big and how open it was. And there was hardly anybody there, and we could never figure out why. It was always like this little secret of the Northwest, and there we were exploring the secret. So anyhow, I had a great friend of mine. Her name is Karen Harzos. She's a U.S. ski team coach now, but she was coaching at the Schweitzer Alpine Racing School, and said, "Hey, they're looking for a supervisor out here." So next thing I know, I was in an interview with the director, and I was getting a job offer, and then I had to figure out now what's up. So within weeks, I was talking to my boss and saying, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do." And not only did he say, "What are you doing?" so did my family and friends. So it led into a whole kind of a career path to say, "Hey, I'm gonna get out and explore the mountains." It was supposed to be 1 season. It turned into 20. So I'm having a good time with it still. So, but I decided to stay out at Schweitzer because it really reminded me the Sandpoint, the community. I grew up in kind of a smaller community outside of Seattle. Well, it's not small anymore, but I like the community. I like the inclusiveness. And I got out here and I found that as well. And we were all, a very eclectic group of people out this way. We'd see each other up at the mountain, and everyone had the same passion for being out on the hill. And the mountain brings us all a special feeling. And so we would make sure we'd enjoy that, but also enjoy town. And it was a great thing. So that's why I ended up just staying, was the commonality out this way, and made me feel at home, even though it was 6 hours away.
Awesome. That's a great answer. Thanks a lot, Marty. And yeah, Marty was also the person that got me for my first paid ski instructor job. So Marty's legit. Get to know Marty. Everybody knows him up there. And yeah, you're a great person to have around for 20 years. So thanks for that answer. All right, I got another one for you. Can you share what it means to be a PSIA ASI instructor? What certs do you have, and how do those expertise benefit your students?
What does it mean to be a PSIA and Aussie instructor? It's a lot of work. There's to get certification. A lot of your ski schools nationwide, most of your ski schools nationwide, want to see that kind of certification. It shows that you've completed a round of tasks that have to do with riding and skiing. You've got knowledge-based task and exam, and then you've got a teaching. Starts out very easy, really. Level 1 is it's a good clinic, and they want to see a certain level of ridership, skier tasks. You pass those. Then they move on to your technical knowledge. You've got an exam within that. And then they've got a light teaching module. You move into your level 2, and it really ups the game a bit. There's harder tasks all the way around. And then you also have a higher, what they call your pass rate. You need to have a certain percentage of that you're passing. Then they move it to level 3, and that really ups the game. That's not an easy exam. The tasks are harder. The technical knowledge is more difficult. You have your teaching is got to be even more well-rounded. You're basically taking a group of high-level skiers and riders, and you need to improve the level of that group. So pressure's on, and it's you have a little bit of time to show all your knowledge. Takes many years. I actually went through it and needed to take some time off. The exam process was proven. I didn't get it right away at that higher level. I didn't give up either. I saw the value in it. I saw what it could bring to my students later. You do a lot of library time. We were doing, we'd sit and watch videos at a library and go through it and see. We would watch a turn over and over again, just hammer it and say, hey, what is going on here, and get the technical knowledge going. It was really interesting to do that part of it without being on snow, because you couldn't just talk and show and give the example. You had to really get out, think outside the box with it. What it did later was, you got at that higher level, you needed to be in front of people. You needed to not just be teaching, but you needed to have some experience doing clinics. In this case, I was doing, helping manage a small ski school, doing preseason interviews, getting the preseason clinic started to get the cobwebs out for the instructors, so that when the students came, we were ready to wow them. That all those certs and all those time on snow, what that led up to be was, how does that benefit your student and your client that you're hoping to see in return each time? What it did was it showed that I could watch and I could learn from my student, and then emulate and think about what it is they're experiencing on the hill, to then make this rapport, this opportunity even easier for them. It's really fun to take all those skills and drills and tips and tricks and years of working with all ages, really, and applying it and watching your student progress, seeing that light bulb shine, seeing it kind of really click. Over the years, it's helped me with, the little ones, the little guys that are, first time on snow. They don't know their lefts and rights. They're putting the boots on for them. To your old timers that are like, hey, I want to try something new. I've never tried skiing or snowboarding, and they're, in their later years, and you're like, this is exciting, right? This is a big thing. And then everybody in between. So what it did was it really showed this lesson progression that you learn to keep people safe, to make this into a lifetime sport. It wasn't just about going out and getting gung-ho and crashing and burning. It was about learning it the proper way and getting the correct techniques. I think that's what helps the students out the most, is being that cool, calm, collected, passionate person that's got patience and making the best of the conditions of the day with what it is that they're trying to tackle. I think that's what helps out those students the most.
Yeah, I appreciate that answer. And one thing I notice is I'll tell people to get lessons. I'll say, do you know what level they are? And I don't think people appreciate how hard it is to become level 3. Level 1 is a gimme. Level 2 is really hard, and level 3 is very rare. So it's really impressive that you're level 3, and I think people should know that about you. And when they're asking for lessons, they should find out, what level instructor they're getting.
Thanks, Cody.
I'd also say that you're great with kids, right? Like, you gave me some tips in there too. And I don't know, you have great jokes, like great one-liner jokes. I still use your fish jokes to this day, and they always get a laugh. Do you feel like throwing out a quick one-liner joke, or is that too on the spot?
I do have a ski instructor joke. That's something that I kind of started to learn to live by over the years. Was when this joke was actually told to me, and it was, do you know how to tell who a ski instructor is at the bar?
No,
Well, you
no.
don't have to
How do
worry
you know?
about it. They're going to come up and tell you. And so
Yeah, nice,
that
classic.
was something I always tried to do as I was getting into instruction. Is you were learning this thing, and you had to share it with everybody, but at the same time, it's like not everybody wants to hear it. And so I don't try to say that I'm the best instructor out there. What I want to do is get out in front of people and say, hey, let's go make skiing and snowboarding more fun. Let's look at a whole other side of it. And so I don't try to sell the lesson like that. I want people to come and you know, all go out and prove and say, hey, let's build that technique and that rapport. So but yeah, that joke telling and those little things like that, from the little guys all the way through to the tweens and the teens and into your the decades, as you get even older, is building that rapport. And so that's one of the tips and tricks we're going to do on that is let's make people at ease regardless of the age.
All right. Yeah, thanks a lot. He has even more jokes than that. Trust me. You got to get Marty at Poochie's or something, and he'll give you some more jokes. Now, this is probably what a lot of people are hanging in there for. And, I think I mentioned in the comments, Marty's got 20 years at Schweitzer, 30 years of instructing. So this is a good question for him to answer. What makes Schweitzer stand out compared to other ski resorts?
That's a good one. Schweitzer is a special spot. It's not easy to get to, but once you're there, you don't need to be anywhere else. And it has a lot of awesome stuff. It's very open. It's a big area, 3,000, about 3,000 acres. You're looking at a half a mile of vertical. You got steeps. You got gladed tree skis. The new management's been really working on clearing out the thicker trees. In the early days, there wasn't really any trees, but 50, 60 years later, now there's obviously everything's been growing. They need to go and clean out some of these areas to make a lot more stuff accessible. The mountain it's a cool spot. The people out here are just stoked to be out in this area. The views alone just really brighten your day when you get up there, and there's the valley sucked in, and you get up above it all, and you can see for miles. You're looking at Canada, you see over towards Washington and Montana, and the people you can tell that people feel it. All your frontline guys, your lift services, even down to your janitors and your housekeeping, front of house, whatnot. Everyone's stoked to be up at at this elevation and breathing the good air. As far as other ski resorts go, I think it's that neat little spot where it's borderline kind of mom and pop and getting to be an actual like bigger resort with the purchase, Altera jumping in, and now we have a hospitality crew standing behind us. So definitely shows in these last couple of years of the new ownership. And it's been a fun one to see those that like to be hospitable have people backing them up to be hospitable, and they're really letting people shine.
All right. Thanks a lot. Yeah, this leads into the next question that I think will be a good one for everybody and you. What's your favorite runs, or let me pull it over. What's your favorite run or area of the mountain, and why? Let me pull up the map really quick on this too, so everybody can see.
When I first started skiing and riding out here, when I was supervising for the ski school, I didn't, I had a radio on, wasn't allowed to really leave the village area all that much. So what I found myself doing was hitting that Great Escape quad. So you get right out of the village, a Great Escape quad, a lot of those runs come right back down the village. And part of that was my check-in as well when it was time for doing classes and getting that doled out. 20 years of skiing that mountain. I got a lot of days on the hill, which is really fun to just get up there and ride. But the Great Escape quad accesses a lot of terrain, and it's just that it's a high-speed quad. It's close to 1,400 vertical, and you can find you've got your Black Diamonds. You got some Ponderees and your Sundance, your White Lightning. Those runs over there, they get great grooming on them. You can access and go all the way over towards Styles and that good steep run there. Get a nice warm up off of Gypsy in the morning with amazing views, and then head over to the iconic Ridge Run, which just drops you right down the gut of the middle of the mountain there. And so the Great Escape Quad has just a lot to offer, and I find myself riding that quite a bit, skiing it quite a bit, because it's a great spot to go hot lap. And your legs are ready in the start of the season when you're going top to bottom of that thing over and over and just jumping right back on the chair. The cool thing about the Great Escape Quad as well is that it just gets you to access just about the whole mountain. You can drop over the backside. You can head out towards the Chair 4 land. We know it's a sunny side on the map there. So it's just a fun one for the amount of terrain that that quad accesses. If we roll it back over to the Outback Bowl, those of us been here a while, we're going to call that the North Bowl. Some of my favorite stuff was is getting over towards like the downhill run and that Coley's Big Timber. You got some steep trees in there. And then another little nickname I've got out this way is the Squirrel Master. They kind of call me the squirrel. You know, you got to go follow this guy around the mountain. Tell people don't follow me. I'm on my day off and I'm going to go hit these secret little tree runs. So your downhill run and your Coley's Big Timber, that drops you down in some fun little lower angle runouts that take you either to that Cedar Park Express, which is a newer high speed chair, or we can drop it all the way down to the classic Outback Inn. Give yourself a refreshment or a lunch. So those are kind of a couple of the favorite zones to go and hit. While you're sitting there, the Outback, they got Little Blue Ridge Run. You know, so if you get your chance to get onto the Cedar Park Express and then you jump over to the Colburn Triple, that's just going to be these zones right here are pretty fun with how it spreads everybody out, and you've got your upper mountain double diamond terrain with cliffs and drops and steeps and trees, and then the mid mountain down you've got they've really been working on again that gladed tree skiing.
Yeah, that's something I noticed. Siberia has always been one of my favorites, and they gladed out these trees so much. A lot more people are getting in there, a lot more accessible.
Yeah, and over on T-Bar side, they've been working on glading out some of that stuff over detention recess area, even in towards Hall Pass and whatnot. Was pretty tight and thick in there for quite a while, and now they're getting some pretty fun glades in there. It takes a few years for the growth to get dropped down a little bit, but yeah, it's just such a fun zone back in there. A lot of topography, so to speak.
All right, thanks a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of good information there, and I agree with almost everything you're saying. And I didn't know about the squirrel nickname, but now I know. I always thought it was Party Marty, which I like.
You're doing all right when they give you a bunch of nicknames.
What parts of the mountain would you recommend for each level of skier or boarder?
Well, that's what I like about this hill. Coming from an instructor standpoint, you go over to that front side again, and we've got a pretty awesome beginner run. We've got a long beginner run. It's close to 600 vertical. It now has a high speed chair on it. You can get a lot of skiing in on that beginner level. Our progression into our intermediate level is in this front side as well. By heading over that the Basin Express, we can move into a bunch of great runs that are in our blue square intermediate category. And that being said, within those runs, there's hard parts of the run where all of a sudden that blue run gets a little steeper and it's getting towards almost a black diamond in steepness. And so on an instructor standpoint, a learning or teaching standpoint, you really get to see people excel, where they hey, I'm out of the beginner terrain, I'm getting in the intermediate terrain, and now I want to try a harder intermediate. And so with that, you've got a good progression. As they move up into intermediate and upper intermediate, we can start moving them further up the mountain and exploring over off of our Lakeside Triple. And we get some steeper blue runs in the upper ridge. But then we also have our intro to some of the longer black diamond runs. Your A shoot, B shoot, those get groomed out pretty good, but they're pretty steep and long. Your K max or D shoot, it's a little shorter of a pitch, so it's sometimes not as daunting, but you get the people into learning how to approach that rollover and get into the steeper terrain. So that's our intermediate kind of area. That front side's got a great progression. Once they've got this progression down, we get them up over to the Great Escape Quad, and it's a really unique opportunity here, I think, with this mountain, is the fact that at an early stage in your skiing and riding, you get to go and ski off the top of a mountain. You can hit a blue run and go for a long ways on it. You take it from the Sky House all the way down to the Outback, and you can you can make a 2+ mile run out of it and get all the vertical the mountain has to offer. As we get into the upper levels, that upper intermediate and the advanced, and you see these guys, they're hot lapping on the triple chair in the Black Diamond terrain, either on Lakeside Triple, which is the front, or over on the backside. There's Lakeside Triple there, or on the backside doing the Colburn Triple. And the Colburn Triple gets you to your classic Lakeside shoots, your Misfortune, your Whiplash. Those are some pretty fun stuff. You get learning to look for your shot points, and then you'll see the signs that the ski patrol is using for where they drop their charges. And each one of those charges, it has to do with the run out that the path is going to take. And you get to be some pretty wild runs in there in that area. So we get a little bit of everything. You got a beginner area, intermediate area, advanced. You can come out as a new skier to this mountain, a new snowboarder, and you don't have to get thrown to the wolves right away. You can get warmed up and kind of scout from just about everywhere where you want to go next.
I really appreciate that answer, because I've had people reach out, and I don't know if it's a word that I didn't pay attention to enough, but a lot of people ask about the progression. Is the progression at Schweitzer good? And I think if you look at some of the stats, there's so few beginner runs that I've been kind of hard on Schweitzer's progression, but you're saying as an instructor, it's a great place to work somebody up on the front side on the progression is what you're getting.
Yeah, exactly. And our beginner run it's a great beginner run, and it's going to be like, it's kind of the one run, but there's actually like several ways of going down it. So if you want to say a beginner and then an upper beginner, you can say that. The plan in the future here is to have a pretty significant beginner area, and that's something that's coming around with the new ownership and the new village that will be put in. They're going to cut a bunch more beginner runs, so we'll have easy beginner and hard beginner. So you'll go from your let's call it a green circle to a double green. So you can have that multiple level. The one of my favorite beginner-ish runs is actually going back to the top of the mountain and hitting that gypsy run, because it's pretty wide and big up top, but then you just have to deal with a little bit of a cat track, and then you're back to an easier run. So as people progress, we can really hone in on the skill set that's required to get to your blue. So there's gypsy off the top. It's a pretty neat run because it's really flat up top as far as beginners go. It is labeled blue because you're coming down at the top of the mountain. It does get steeper as you get into the top of head wall there, and that's the cat track across the top. So once you've got your students past that point, you got a lot more opened up for them. So
yeah, that was an awesome overview of the mountain. I can just imagine somebody coming down thinking about viewing the mountain. You hit so much of it there, and extremely helpful. And I think there's the next part that I know when I'm going to a ski resort, this is always fun to figure out. But asking you, this is going to be an interesting answer. I'll be curious to see what you say here. Do you have a favorite après ski spot you'd recommend on the mountain and in Sandpoint?
Oh, I do. I got several. I got this is a pretty fun one. The mountain's a really cool spot in that regard. Is just about every chair ride you can go take a break at, say, an après spot. You can right from the village, you can head up and go up to the top and hit the Sky House. Sky House has an awesome selection of food up there, and it's what an amazing spot to have a little warm up, get out of the wind if it's a windy day. They've got an awesome greyhound up there that we all like to share with, because they're fresh squeezing them, so you feel you get a little bit spoiled up there. On the backside of the mountain, you can drop down off of coming to the top. You can drop down and hit the Outback, and the Outback it's a 50-year-old spot back there. It's been it's pretty neat. They just recently added to it with the covered seating outside, and then also some more storage area. One of the best burgers on the mountain is actually the furthest away from the village. Springtime on the backside is a ton of fun. Stella Chair is rocking. They've got, every once in a while, you've got a band back there. It's pretty neat. And the Outback just really knows how to keep people happy. You get back to the front side, and the new hotel it doesn't feel like you're in Sandpoint. It feels like you're in some European resort. The architecture is pretty neat. Craft cocktails that they're doing in there are pretty awesome. Really cool patio, outdoor fire pits. Go kick back. They've been starting to do music outside there when the weather's right. Classic is the good old Poochie's Pub. It carries a classic name, Poochie Shoot, Poochie family, John Poochie, ski patrol, former ski patrol director. And it gets rowdy and loud in there, and it's pretty fun. But man, pulled pork Caesar is awesome. That's a classic Caesar. They do a dry rub on it, and they do really awesome with even though it's a small little kitchen, they rock it. Awesome beer and cider selection. Nachos are amazing there. You can come in, get out of the cold, and enjoy a bunch of ski stories. They've got TVs up there always throwing some kind of adrenaline sport in and keeping the stoke alive. Weekend warriors that are up and having a good time, head over to Tops. Tops got music on the weekends. That's pretty fun to come down off a hill, and that's what makes it feel a little bit more classic, is to come off, ski down off a mountain and go into where someone's playing some music. Another favorite is Powderhound Pizza. What better than getting a hot slice of pizza on a cold day and overlooking the view, which is looking over the lake. Always nice and warm in there, because that oven's really keeping it warm.
I think that's an awesome answer. I think Taps, if you hit it when the band's going, hit Poochie's at about 8:30, have a good night, and you can't go wrong with the pizza and the nice view from Powderhound Pizza. So yeah, thanks for that answer. That's awesome. Did you touch on anything in Sandpoint you'd recommend?
Sandpoint's classic. There's a lot to offer down in town. For those that aren't staying on the mountain, if you're staying at one of the hotels that's downtown Sandpoint, you don't have to drive anywhere. That's the kind of beauty about town. It's so small. The business district's like 5 blocks by 5 blocks. So classic. Everyone meets at iCarts. Locals go to iCarts. It's a really awesome pub. They've got awesome. Their menus or their specials menu, the specials board. Rarely order off the menu. The menu is great, but the specials board's better. It's pretty awesome in there. New place in town, the Fat Pigs. I got awesome chefs in there that do really cool specials as well. You walk in there and look at their special board, and it's just like, whoa, I've never even heard of that. What is that? And so they really bring it to Sandpoint with that. And then their classic menu, their standard menu is pretty awesome as well. And they've got a great beer and wine selection, or beer selection, I should say. So, but those are two of the favorites. A lot of great options down in town as well. Bluebird Bakery. Those guys that are in town rating to go up to the mountain, you got to hit Evans Brothers. Classic. Couple ski bums moved to town, start a business, and they've got a good coffee shop going there. Some of the best coffee around.
Yeah, there's another thing I just thought of while you're bringing that up. I don't know if it's still a thing, but I know people used to go to Connie's for like $1 well night, and then there was a night where they'd empty out the taps at iCarts. Is that still something that happens?
Oh yeah, we still got that. It was thank you inflation. It's no longer $1 beer night. It's a $2 beer night. We still call it $1 beer night. We go and hit it up. It's a kill the keg, bartender selection. That always brings a nice young vibrant crowd to come in there and have fun. And Connie's new ownership, done some updating. They've changed that menu around. That's been a fun one. Getting Connie's getting a little spruce up there. So that's a good spot to go. And they've got summertime too. If you're here in the summertime enjoying our mountain or in the area, they've been doing outdoor music there quite a bit.
All right. Yeah, those were awesome answers. I hope you don't mind the follow-up questions.
No problem.
Here's where I'm hoping some people jump on and ask some questions. This is a viewer question portion. So anybody watching, please shoot some questions for Marty that wants to know about Sandpoint, or just give Marty a little hell. That'd be kind of fun. Now, let's see what we have for viewer questions. Let's see. Oh, we got some stuff. Okay, I asked. We have Melissa. Which is better, skiing or boarding?
This is a classic question. Are you a skier or are you a snowboarder? I'm neither. I'm both. It's kind of a fun one. Obviously, a lot of us started out. We did, we started out skiing until snowboarding came around. Then we got into snowboarding. Snowboarding is fun. I'd done a little bit of surf. I'd done a little bit of skate, and so snowboard that was something to go and try. So, but I never wanted to give up the other one. I never wanted to give up skiing. I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into any one. So as I started teaching, I started getting into the instruction aspect as a job. What I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to teach any lesson. If you wanted to go snowboarding, we'd go snowboarding. You want to go skiing, we'd go skiing. To me, I saw the benefit in both aspects. Is one better than the other? I'm not the person to say yes. They both have their own aspects. They both have their own feelings of what they feel like on the snow. They both have their own cultures surrounding it. It's been fun being able to pick. And what I did early on was I didn't say one side or the other. In fact, some of my closest ski buddies growing up, in the early days, we shared a snowboard because we weren't fully committed yet. And then as we got committed, it was like, we're not sharing anymore. We're going to pick our equipment and go ride. With that, what it allowed us to do is we got to pick our equipment as per the conditions of the day. And so if you had a good day that was warranted going more towards skis, then you could go out and ski. And if you had a day that was looking more like a snowboard day, you can go and ride that. So it was fun to get both going. That's where I also went into. I see her other question there about why you decided to get certified in both. I wanted to have that. I wanted to have that resume. I wanted to say, hey, here's legitimate. We can go and do either side.
All right, we're getting some good questions here. We have thanks for those answers. Those are great answers. We have one from Lauren. How did you get the nickname Marty Party?
Lauren's chiming in there. I think it probably came from Lauren. There was a funny get together out at the coast that we always used to go and do. And I would invite friends, and the friends wouldn't always show. And it was because I was being invited by some friends. And, you invite some friends to some other friends' party. And well, one day all the friends decided to show up from my side, and the party of what we were at, they were like, so I don't know these people, but they all seem to know you. So is this the Marty Party? It kind of stuck.
Nice. That was a great question. Thanks for asking that. I never knew. You're an extrovert, you're a guy that's always down to have a good conversation and fun. And it just is a great nickname for you. And I don't think it's going anywhere. You might want to be called Squirrel, but you're Party Marty or Marty Party. I mean, I think people have called up to Schweitzer as well, and they say Party Marty. They're going to know who you are. You don't have to say Marty Andrews. But this leads nicely into the next question. And I don't want to mispronounce her name. Is this somebody you know?
We got Ronnie Marley. I met Ronnie Marley years ago out in at Schweitzer. She has roots in the area, and we actually met in a lift line and said, are you guys working on snowboarding? And they said yes. And so off we went and developed a friendship. With all the things that are going on, do you have much availability? There are times that I do, and then there are times that are just booked out. With the programs we're running at Schweitzer right now, we have come the first of the year, my weekends are booked. We have the Fanatics program. We've got a Snowboard Northwest team that we have started. Fanatics is ski and snowboard. That's Saturday, Sunday. So where I try to cater the best of my ability to is over the holiday weekends, and then also the people that are coming out for the week-long or multi-week stay, we can get the midweek taken care of, which is actually the better scheme because the weekends are pretty busy. So yeah, with all that's going on, I will say, hey, reach out. The ski school knows me. The ski school has we are very proactive with keeping the schedule up and going so that you would know the availability. So if someone were to call in and say, hey, is instructor Marty, they available? And so what day are you looking at? And so we stay very proactive on keeping the schedule clear. With that being said, the new company has brought in a lot of really awesome changes. We actually have a reservation office now. And so they're getting all their ducks in a row to keep our reservations coming in clean. So we don't miss opportunities to get people out on the hill.
Well, I'm excited for this next question because it's pretty funny, and you're nailing these answers, by the way, Marty. Thanks. This is from Chelsea. What's your favorite ski snowboarding snack recipe? Meat stick?
Oh, meat stick. That's oh, the nicknames are coming out.
Oh, nice.
I dig a pocket sandwich. Nothing better than a pocket sandwich. You put an old peanut butter jelly sandwich in your pocket and you get a smashed peanut butter jelly sandwich. And so, that being said, a good old smash sandwich in your pocket goes far, especially when you got those big days where you're like, I'm not going in the lodge. I'm going to ride until I can't even stand anymore. So the pocket sandwich always works good.
And next up, we've got pocket sandwich isn't as funny as meat stick, but good answer. I'm sure that's the real thing. Lou asked, "Where's Benny?"
Oh, Benny's probably sleeping downstairs where it's nice and warm, and mom's giving him snacks. So Benny's the old dog. Benny's been around quite a while. Benny probably knows more people than I do.
All right. Here's another question from Melissa, and I this is what we were talking about earlier. I think your skill set's so important, and people really want the instruction. So this is a good question. I'm excited to get your answer on this. I like the funny ones too. And this is from Melissa. If you could give only one tip to people wanting to improve their skill on the mountain, what would it be?
That's a great one. One of the common things I see in this industry is people wanting to get out on the mountain and have their equipment feel good right off the shelf. A lot of times, what that means is they've got ill-fitting equipment. What I really try to do is get people in this lifetime sport is to get in with your local ski shop. We've gone really far in learning all these great tips and tricks, and we can get you down just about anything. But if your boots don't fit right, or your equipment's got an ill fit to it and it's borrowed, or you got it secondhand, it's only going to get you so far. So finding your guy in town that's going to be a boot fitter, and your qualified ski shops, they want to help you out as well. So getting that properly fit equipment is where I'd start, and that's something before we even really get out on snow. And then as we get out on snow and you start to notice, the instructor is saying certain things, and it's like I'm doing it, but it's not happening. And then we start to look at the properly fit equipment. So the one tip I would say would be to get the equipment fitting correct or better. It's the performance that you need as we're going out and putting these pressures on the ski and the snowboard to go flying down the mountain.
All right. Thanks a lot. That's a good tip. And here we have another comment from Roni. Okay, Hawaii's coming for you.
Oh, Ronnie, love it. Gonna bring on my Ohana family. Can we bring the Hawaii family here? It's so awesome.
You have another comment here. After 20 years of Marty Party being in our lives, I will say he is full of aloha, and we are stoked to have him on the mountain. I'd agree.
Ronnie, you're so sweet.
All right. Here we have another one. Here's Roger. I like these questions. These are awesome because I don't know the answers, but they're funny. Are you hitchhiking? Are your hitchhiking days behind you?
My hitchhiking days are not behind me, and the only hitchhiking I've ever really done has been at the mountain. So instead of getting on the employee bus in the morning, instead of driving your car up the mountain road and putting miles and wear and tear on it, nothing wrong with sticking your thumb out outside on that road. And, in my early days when I was really trying to get more lessons, I actually hitchhiked and got a couple lessons one time, and a couple times, it was pretty fun. So one of them was these group of guys from the East Coast that decided to come out and check out this place where a buddy of theirs was living, and stuck my thumb out. They picked me up. I tried to sell them a lesson. They were not interested. But later it turned into we still are friends, because I met up with them after my lessons that day and started to show them the mountain. And they said, wow, we've been to this mountain, and now we know that we don't know this mountain. So, 20 years later, almost 20 years later, still hang and talk with these guys. They come out every year to ride, and that's been a fun one, is to be their guide on the mountain. We've gone to other mountains as well, and to know that these guys are committed to this sport and buying a pass and flying all the way across the country to use as many days as they can on an extended trip has been pretty awesome to be a part of.
All right. Just so you know, you're getting popular here. We're getting some good ski instructing questions mixed in with some of the interesting backstory questions. Pablo asked, how do you adjust your instruction based on an individual's past experience and abilities?
Pablo, that's a great question. That starts with what I call rapport. One of the things I really enjoy doing is getting to know people. And how do you adjust your instruction based on individuals' experiences? I'm going to ask them and say, what's your experience and what have you felt? And so I'm really trying to get into that mindset. With that, then part of the training I've been through is looking at what we call movement analysis. I'm watching you from day one. I'm watching you right from the start, and we're going to talk about those movements as we get out there to get an understanding with each other, to get a good pathway going for your learning process. So we'll adjust that instruction by just, by asking those questions and getting to know each other, keeping it lighthearted and fun. And when I ask about any kind of past instructor experiences or mountain experiences or equipment experiences, and then we go and look. What I've also been looking in lately is all these apps we have now that can do movement analysis as well, because I can see and I can talk to you about this, but when it comes down to actually having a 100% understanding, can you see it? And now you can. We just go and we can do the video. Video analysis is a great way lately to really get people to understand with this learning pathway, what the coach is saying to what their experience is, what they're feeling, and what they're getting put out there. It really helps with your understanding of the movement pattern that we're looking for to excel down the hill.
Oh, great answer. That I'm sure Pablo appreciates that. I'm going to hit you up with another one from Jeff. It's a really great question about that lines up well with your background. I'm getting a young man into snowboarding for budgetary reasons. How many lessons do you need to move from beginner to intermediate?
Depending on our motivation, depending on our physical ability, I've seen a lot of riders go from a beginner to intermediate in around 3 lessons. That's on a private level. The private level is that one-on-one. You're building the rapport with the student and the coach, and then you've got a multi-day. And I think the biggest thing is to look at what we can do on a multi-day. If you have the opportunity to say go to an area to where you're going to be staying on mountain, then great, you can get the multi-day going. If you're coming from an area where you're traveling for hours on end, let's say a couple hours to get to a hill, that starts to add into that budget as well, because now you're looking at your travel time and whatnot. With that, if you can have the opportunity and it's in the budget to do a private lesson, request that coach again. If you had a good time with them the first time, have a great time with them the second time and the third time. It does wonders to help the rider get even further along. With that, if you can extend your lesson time, that's another good one. If this young man's of the age where they've got the ability to go out for, say, 2 hours and be on snow, they're going to learn a lot in, say, 2 or 3 lessons, 3 or 4 lessons. So anywhere from 6 to 8 hours on snow over the course of, say, 2 or 3 days. If you have a shorter time, then obviously that's breaking into some of the time that's going to be allowed to get stuff done. We've seen it happen sooner than that. It all depends too on the physical ability and the motivation of the rider or skier at hand.
All right, Marty. I just want to, how much more time are you willing to be on here? We have like one more question, but should I field any more questions from anybody?
I like questions.
All right. We have another good one from Lauren then, and we'll keep this going. And I have one more for you after these simmer down. But everybody feel free to ask some more questions. They're going great. Okay. Other than being on the snow, what are your other passions?
Wintertime was a super, super fun one, right? A lot of great stuff to do on snow. Other passions, been mountain biking for quite a while. Cycling's always been a passion of mine, all the way from riding my bike to school as a kid, taking the long way home, to commuting to work as when I lived in Seattle, was, finding the long way home to make your commute that much more fun and burn off some steam after work. So cycling is another passion of mine. Do a lot of touring in the summertime. They call it bike packing now, but getting on a bike and going for days on end and not seeing anybody and self-supported, it's been a great thing for the psyche. And with that, I took the ski and snowboard instruction and those certifications and turned that into certification within mountain bike coaching as well.
I will second that. He brought me to the San Juans, and it was amazing. And there's pictures pop up every now and then. And yeah, Marty was terrific at that as well. He just knows his stuff. Yeah. Any other questions, anybody? All right. I'm going to give you one more question, Marty. This should be pretty good. And then I'm going to give you a little surprise at the end here. Let's see. How can people contact you if they want a private lesson from the best instructor I know?
Well, we've been running the banner down there, and hopefully everyone can see that. Contact Schweitzer Mountain. We have group lessons, private lessons. If you want to go with a coach directly, they call that a private lesson. They call it a request. So you can do a request private lesson with name of your favorite coach. We're scrolling the number down there for into our new call center. Has been working wonders so far. We're getting calls in for people to get our season going now that the mountains got snow, and we're opening here on the November 22nd. So there's a toll-free number, and keep it simple for everybody. There's a couple dial tones you go through to get to it, but 833-854-7669, which, if I remember right, spells snow.
Nice. Well, here's your little surprise. I think I told you I've been roasting coffee, and I like Evans Brothers. I'm going to send you some of my Bluebird coffee. It's a dark roast. I like it a lot. So I'm going to send it to your place, Marty. And I appreciate you doing this. We've had a lot of coffee together. I don't think Evans is going to go out of business by me sending you 12 ounces of the best coffee in the world.
But I'm going to sit down and drink it with Randy, and we'll critique for you.
Yeah. Let him know I'm coming after him. Evans Brothers is going down. Oh, that was awesome. I appreciated all the questions. You did great too. And yeah, you're just a wealth of knowledge. I would really recommend it. Anybody that's getting, private lessons up at Schweitzer, get them from Marty. He's the man. He's an extrovert. He knows what he's doing. You're not going to get any better. So thanks again, Marty, and you have a good night.
Cody, thanks so much for your time and getting this all put together. It's been super fun watching you grab all this with all the resorts.
All right. Thanks again.
Good night.